Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is HD, and it is time for the fifth and final matchup between WhiteRa and Tarson in this very good series. And Tarson actually coming up in a big way, coming up in 2 games in the last 2 after being at an 0-2 deficit. I didn't think it was possible. I didn't think anyone could do that to the grandfather Protoss, but Tarson has. And Tarson here even starting the game off with a little bit of friendly fire and spirit, saying, hey, WhiteRa, you need to win a game now. And WhiteRa's like, why? Tarson says, because I'm the king, baby. So, all right, WhiteRa here now knows the competitive spirit is on. Both these players obviously very friendly with each other, but I cannot wait to see what's going to happen here. This is the 5th and final game. Now, one thing, guys, I have to say is WhiteRa needs to pull that innovation spirit, that spirit of innovation and aggression somewhere out from underneath him, and he is the player to do it, guys. In the last game we were talking about how he needs to use those warp prisms more, and he did. He just still was not able to win because Tarson is the caliber, is such a top caliber player that unless you do enough damage, you're not gonna win the game. So I would argue now WhiteRa's best strategy, considering this map is Terminus and it is a very big map, extremely macro heavy, you know, you don't want to get into a macro game with Tarson on this map. He can expand here, can expand into the inside location as well, and once Tarson gets 3 bases and starts mining and bunkers down, you are in trouble. So I would argue WhiteRa's best options here are to go for even more aggression than in the last couple of games. I would argue, you know what, just go balls to the wall, bring that innovative playstyle to the forefront. I mean, we know WhiteRa can do it. He uses Warp Prism, he uses Charge Lot Archon, he uses Mothership, for crying out loud. We saw that in the first game I casted of him this morning. So anything is possible for WhiteRa, and I think he needs to cook up some of that innovative spirit. And in fact, it doesn't look like WhiteRa is going to be going for the quick gateway into Nexus. He has thrown down the assimilator, which is indicative that he wants to do some kind of a gas build rather than going for the quick Nexus, and I like that. He will be doing some kind of an aggressive play here, and I wonder, is he going to try to 4-gate? Is he going to try to go into a quick Stargate? Is he going to try to go into quick Twilight Council? He may even go into a fast Mothership. I don't know, guys. So, it doesn't look like WhiteRa is going to be playing the expand game here, despite the map being very expand-oriented, and I like that. He knows he cannot take Tarson in a long-term game. Tarson's too good at that kind of stuff. Tarson here going for what seems to be an early Reaper opening, 1 gas expo. Yes, he does have the command center going down. So very typical of Tarson here. That is his play style. He will get the command center down as quickly as possible. Now the SCV has made its way into WhiteRa's main, so Tarson now knows that well, did I just call WhiteRa pain user? Duckloadra, WhiteRa is not going to be going for the fast Nexus. That SCV did see 2 gateways and a cybernetics core, and so he can assume the gas is going. So right now Tarson knows that WhiteRa is going to be doing some kind of a tech build or some kind of a possible 4-gate. And Tarson does have control of the Zelnaga Tower momentarily, but the Stalker easily able to take that out. Now, the probe coming along for the party kind of means that we may see a proxy pylon go down, and WhiteRa may opt to throw down more gateways. No! WhiteRa gonna be going for a Nexus after all. Very interesting. And WhiteRa just doing a little bit of damage at the front door, actually manages to lose his probe. The Zealot here, nice micro by WhiteRa, but doesn't look like he is going to do much damage at all, as a Stalker is in between a Marine and a bunker. Now, this is kind of strange, very strange build order from WhiteRa. If you're gonna go for an expo on this map, I would argue 1-gate Nexus is much more effective than whatever WhiteRa is doing here. And if you are going to expo off of multiple gateways, really the best time to do that is the 3-gate Nexus. But what WhiteRa has done here, he has done it kind of modified in between 2-gate into Nexus. It's very strange. And I'm not exactly sure what his strategy here is, but he is producing a lot of sentries right now, and it almost seems like he wants to play the macro game, but you know, in that sense, he's definitely behind because his Nexus is much later than the orbital command of Tarson's, and Tarson will be able to pick up that economy very quickly. So, I don't know, maybe WhiteRa just opened up with the early gateways just because he was concerned that Tarson might cheese him on this map or something. I really don't know, guys, but WhiteRa is making considerable amount of forces here. In fact, he's got a really well-placed pylon, and hey, just don't discount the possibility that WhiteRa will make an attack happen, as he is making pylons across the map here. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, it is a 5-gate. Are we going to see a 6th gateway go down? WhiteRa is definitely going to be aggressive here with these 5 warp gates. He's warping them down on the pylon below. He's got another proxy pylon coming up, and Tarson has no idea this is coming. No, Tarson very intelligently has 2 bunkers, even a turret in case of Void Rays or Dark Templars. Tarson is on top of things, and I think those 2 bunkers should be enough to dispatch of these units. And oh, Tarson's SCV gets a great scout off on WhiteRa, and the gig is up now. WhiteRa has to push out with whatever gateways he's got. At the same time, though, obviously, guys, this isn't like an all-in from WhiteRa. He does have a backup here. He does have an expansion in the background, so this isn't like some kind of crazy, you know, crazy all-in strategy. WhiteRa is just applying some pressure and trying to do whatever damage he can, but he definitely invested a lot into this attack. Look how much ground forces he's got, and WhiteRa gonna come in here and force Tarson to pull SCVs off the line. Tarson here needs to get those SCVs on repair duty ASAP, and WhiteRa unable to break through those double bunkers. Really smart by Tarson, just being prepared and throwing up those bunkers. In fact, it was a triple bunker layout, so WhiteRa was so prepared. Excuse me, Tarson was so prepared, but now WhiteRa is actually going to break through the backside of Marine here on the ramp below in zone 31. He definitely sees this, and what he sees cannot be fun, and unfortunately this guy must be petrified with fear, and now he finally runs at the last second. Really likes to play with death a little bit here. I don't know if he's going to make it out of there alive. Oh, saving Private Ryan. That failed. So WhiteRa able to pick off that Marine. One small victory for the Protoss, and it does look like he's got a pretty nice position here. He can definitely attack from 2 different angles, and in fact, let's see what he does. He is going to try to work his way up this ramp once again with Guardian Shield, but that bunker there, in fact, we now have a quad bunker layout for Tarson. Look at that. 2 bunkers here and 2 bunkers down here. Oh, so protected here, and I just don't know if WhiteRa is going to be able to make any kind of a push happen. And yeah, he is going to have to play the macro game now as he's forced into a Nexus in the background. But, you know, I would argue this may be more favorable for WhiteRa, because WhiteRa has the Terran player somewhat contained, like a pseudo-contained, and Tarson's going to have a very hard time securing the orbital command down here. He may be forced into a planetary situation, and that is not good for Tarson's strategy of playing a long-term macro game. So I definitely feel like, despite this now hurtling towards which seems to be a macro game, I feel like WhiteRa has a distinct advantage this time around, simply because he's got that Nexus up much sooner, and well, he did have the contain, but I guess he's going to go ahead and forfeit the territory for now, although he does have very well placed pylons, so those pylons can definitely come in handy. And I don't know, let's see what Tarson's doing inside his main here. He's floating out his factory, obviously going to play bio heavy from here on out. Won't really need the factory anymore. He has pretty decent saturation right behind WhiteRa, but he will need that third Nexus, excuse me, third command center very, very soon. And in fact, it is just now about to finish. And he should immediately land that down and grit some mining going. Yes, indeed, he's going to do just that. And it looks like Tarson may be thinking about pushing out. A little uncharacteristic of him. But at the same time, since he is trying to establish that third command center, he might feel the need to put some pressure on WhiteRa to keep him off his back for a little bit. And so he is pushing out across right now with these Marines and Marauders. Picks off the pylon right away, but an observer is there to scout the entire movement of the Terran army. Never a good situation, by the way, because WhiteRa will know exactly what Tarson is up to at all points in this game. Tarson here, you know, one thing I've noticed about him is he's always dropping scans to pick off obs, but it surprises me here that he's not going to scan the observer that is chilling right over his main army. How does he not see this? He really needs to drop a scan and get rid of that obs, but he's just going to allow it to trail him for so long. And WhiteRa, meanwhile, will be able to recompose his army such that it deals with this army perfectly. And finally, the comsat goes down to pick off the observer. Tarson was like, hey, guys, you see that thing up there? Take it down. So he does pick off the obs. And WhiteRa quickly getting into Colossi tech now. along with quickly upgrading the charge. I love that. Right now his units are kind of vulnerable without that necessary charge upgrade. I mean, over half of his army invested is into that basic charge lot unit or zealot unit, and upgrading that charge is going to be so important for WhiteRa. Alright, so both these players now once again into that macro mode. I don't know who's going to come out ahead. It definitely looks like neither player wants to engage at this point, but you know, I gave the advantage to WhiteRa, but when you think about history tends to repeat itself. So I feel like Tarson may end up coming out ahead in the late game. We'll just have to wait and see, because Tarson, you know, he's so good at his macro. He hits every timing perfectly. He knows exactly how many buildings to get. He never misses a cycle of units. Everything's just perfect. So I don't know, guys. We'll see what happens. Stim going down on the Marine here, but the Zealot will warp in. Save the pylon! And the Zealot, oh, that's a nasty way to die. The Zealot is able to take out the pylon with ease, or the Marine with ease. And WhiteRa continuing to grab pylons all over the northern edge of this map, but Tarson is moving out with a dropship here. The pylon will spot the Marines and Marauders. Tarson may opt to drop here and take out that pylon. Yes, indeed he does. And at this moment in the game, both players just bulking up massive armies. Tarson at 1-1 upgrades, WhiteRa at 1-1 upgrades of his own, but both players about to approach 2-2. And WhiteRa, though, does have that blink and charge ability about to be finished as well. Tarson and WhiteRa both are going to have a massive engagement sometime in the near future, and I'm not sure who's going to win. It definitely is going to come down to raw skill in micro, and of course, the Ghosts versus the High Templar. Who can get the EMPs off first? Who can get the snipes off first? And for the Templars, who can get the storms off and the feedback off first? So here we are, WhiteRa moving out with a pretty sizable army near max right now, and it looks like he wants to engage. The time has come. The Colossus and Zealots, everything is reaching all their upgrades, and the 2-2 upgrades about to finish just moments away. WhiteRa just hitting those timings so perfectly, and his 2-2 upgrades have now just about 10 seconds away from finishing, so T-minus 5 seconds or so. He definitely is going to wait until those upgrades finish before he opts to attack. As far as infantry goes, the armor upgrade is going to finish in about 1 second as well, so both players at 2-2 apiece, and here is a massive engagement we've been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. Tarson with a large number of Vikings will be able to pick off this Colossus very easily. Oh, the force field's working against the charge lots though, and WhiteRa may not have placed those force fields in the best of positions. He cannot engage with his charge lots, finally backing up and luring the Marines and Marauders a little bit. As the force fields dissipate, all the Colossus have fallen down, and WhiteRa here trying to burst through, trying to assert his will over Tarson. Can he do it? This is game 5. Everything's on the line. It looks like Tarson has to pull SCVs, and oh my god, WhiteRa may just win this game. What a game by WhiteRa. Oh my god, he finally breaks through, and I don't think Tarson can win at this point. He just lost so many SCVs, and WhiteRa with a point to prove, saying that Tarson, you are not the king, I'm the king, baby. And obviously has another point to prove in the fact that he can win a macro game against Tarson. Tarson, pulling all of his SCVs, knows that this is the end, and the mules, oh no, they're actually gonna go ahead and go mines. So Tarson's still trying to hang in this game no matter what, but things are certainly looking very bleak. Actually, there was a drop over here at this Nexus the entire time, may end up killing the Nexus. They do end up killing the Nexus, but I mean, one small defeat or one small victory for Tarson does not equal a win, especially when you got all these forces inside your main. And I don't know what Tarson can do at this point. Once again, SCV's trying to fight and run the gauntlet, but oh my god, those Zealots are just gonna slice and hack those SCVs in half, and Tarson running on fumes at this point with only 3 SCVs remaining, and he calls out the GG, and well played. So WhiteRa takes this series away. The grandfather Protoss showing how it's done, playing the macro game, and taking that win. But nevertheless, what a awesome series that was. We definitely had some slow games and some fast-paced games. But it's always good to have a nice mix, and I definitely think this is an awesome series showcasing some of the best StarCraft 2 players in the world. So I hope you guys definitely enjoyed that, and if you did, please do subscribe to my channel if you guys ever get a chance. If you guys like to hear an annoying Asian guy talk about StarCraft 2 all day, then definitely that's the place to be. So that's all I've got to say about that, guys. It is so hot in here, my back is breaking and my fat is jiggling. So I'm gonna take off for now, guys, and I hope you guys all enjoy the July the 4th weekend. Go have fun, and I'll see you guys soon.